What is going on, YouTube people? Doesn't it suck when real life invades the little cardboard world that we've all built for ourselves? Well, this week, real life is butting in as the new tariffs that went into place this week are immediately having impacts on the collectible industry. And honestly, not sure where it goes from here. There could be more downstream effects that we're just not aware of yet. But at least one company so far, PSA, has come out and already changed some policies based off of what is going on out there in the quote unquote real world. But before we talk about the PSA stuff, let's talk about hobby supplies. That's right. Today's video sponsor, the Penny Sleever. And it is very important today because I actually want to discuss hobby supplies. But if you are in need to stock up, thepennysleever.com, 10% off your first order with code NEOCARDS and free shipping over $59. I don't want to fearmonger, but it might not be a bad idea to stock up on hobby supplies before price increases start to kick in, because I have to imagine most of this stuff will be impacted by tariffs. Now, I don't know that for sure, but I have a sneaking suspicion at least some hobby supplies will be impacted by all this nonsense. So if you need to load up, what a better time to do it than now. I know I just got a large shipment of stuff in about a week or so ago to get loaded back up on penny sleeves and card savers. All that information will be found in the description of this video. So supplies are one thing. The hobby relies on a lot of plastic. A lot of plastic comes from overseas. So I would not be surprised if we do see price increases on penny sleeves, top loaders, card savers, mags, all that sorts of stuff. But the main news that came out on late Monday is PSA is shutting down direct submissions from China, Canada, and Mexico. Now, for Canada, you can still go through PSA Canada and submit that way. More on that in a minute. And they're trying to figure something out for the other two. Basically, and listen, I am way out of my depth here. But from what I could put together, listening to some people smarter than me and talking to some people smarter than me, what it boils down to is this. The tariff applies to the value of whatever it is crossing the border. So if you sent a card to PSA, it grades, the value is $10,000. Once it swings back north of the border or south of the border or west of the border, it now would incur the 10, 20, 25% tariff that is in place. And you could see how that could get expensive real quick. So the only simple solution for PSA was to essentially just block IP addresses from anyone submitting in those countries directly. They can still go through the group submitter. It sounds like the group submitters are bringing it directly into the country. If you want more information on this, I would highly encourage you to go watch this interview over here. This went up Tuesday afternoon. Brad, friend of the channel, never been on, but I've talked to Brad many a nationals and Fanatics Fest and had great conversations with him over the years. Did a little 20-minute interview discussion with another YouTube channel. What's it called? Something Carlos. Anyway, I'll link to it in the description of this video down below. I would highly recommend you go check it out. It is very informative and give much more detail if this is directly impacting you specifically for the Canadian viewers. So we'll give this a little bit of a signal boost. So if you want to go check that out, like I said, they give more details in there on kind of what's going on and on how this is all going to work. So you could go get some more information from that over there. But that's essentially the workaround, is you could go through the authorized group submitter. get cards to them. They will get them the PSA, and it will avoid the tariffs for now until they work out some other details. Now, how long that'll take, what that'll look like, I don't really think anybody knows at this point. Everyone's just trying to kind of figure this thing out. Now, I don't know what the other grading companies will do. This is what PSA is doing. I don't know what SGC is going to do. CGC, Beckett, who knows? But I have to imagine this is going to impact them as well. I would advise, if you are direct submitting to one of the grading companies that's not PSA and you live in one of these countries, I would strongly recommend reaching out to them first right now before you send cards, because you don't want any nasty surprises on the way back. Let them give you clear guidance on what's going on. PSA has given their guidance as of time of recording on early Tuesday afternoon. No other grading company has posted anything yet. We'll see if that changes. But as of time of recording, no one else has mentioned anything for this yet. If you submit through a group submitter, I would contact them and ask them how this is going to impact them if you are outside of the country. For those of us in the United States, there's no immediate impact for grading, at least not yet. I don't know. I believe PSA's holders are made in the United States. I don't know that for sure. I'm unsure about the rest of the grading companies, where they get their supplies from. If all of a sudden their holders cost 20% more, or something in the process costs 20% more, odds are that's probably going to get passed down to us in some way, shape, or form. And like I was talking about it earlier, if you're a little low on penny sleeves, top loaders, card savers, obviously I recommend the penny sleever, but regardless, I would stock up. I would get a little, if you're running low, it doesn't hurt anything, you're going to use them eventually, better off to buy them now, before, if prices go up or shortages or who knows what else is going to go on in the wild world that we live in right now. I am sure this will not be the last of downstream effects. I do not know. Probably the biggest question I have, and this would affect us, is what happens with eBay. I've actually reached out to eBay, have not heard anything back yet. If I get any more information on the eBay angle of all this, or if one of you has information on the eBay angle of all of this, feel free to fire away in the comments down below, because I have bought cards from Canadian sellers in the past, 100%. Like I said earlier, I am sure there is going to be more downstream effects from all of this. This will not be the last that we hear of this, and things will probably pop up that none of us were even thinking about. So, even though you might not live in Canada, Mexico, or China, there's still probably a decent chance that these are going to impact our hobby lives. As always, curious for your thoughts and comments down below. Catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.